Thank you. Andy Slaughter, Labour MP for Hammersmith. Also live on PM, James Schneider, National Organiser for the Momentum Group, which grew out of the campaign to elect Jeremy Corbyn as leader. What do you think of these 172 Labour MPs?
I think it's really regrettable. I completely agree with Andy that we're at a time of national crisis, an unprecedented peacetime national crisis. I feel it very keenly. That Polish centre that was attacked, I used to live for 5 years. Andy was my MP. I've spent time in that centre. We are at a time of national crisis, and what was needed was for the Labour Party to come together, to be united, and to offer a strong voice in these Brexit negotiations, to stand against the scapegoating of migrants, to defend environmental rights, to ensure workers' rights and consumer protections, and also to come together and build the platform that will win back the millions of voters that have left the party over the last decade, focusing on issues like council housing, fixing the housing crisis, incomes, increasing wages, minimum wage, targeting investment from a national investment infrastructure bank into these communities that have been the most left behind and damaged by the neoliberalism of the last 30 years.
So a lot for the Labour Party to do.
A lot for the Labour Party to do, but the Labour Party needs to be doing well. And I'm afraid that the actions of the plotters, and they may talk about change situation, but really the script was written before. They were trying to do this before to happen after the local elections. Remember, Margaret Hodge was going to be the stalking horse that was in the press the day before the local elections. Then their plans were scuppered because Labour did well. Now they are trying to do it again. I understand how some MPs, I like Andy Slaughter very much. I think he's a decent and he's an honest man, and I respect the reason he's taken. So it must have taken
something for him to step down and say what he's saying now.
We are in an incredibly difficult situation.
I mean, Jeremy Corbyn must be quite bad for all of these MPs, including Andy Slaughter, to say enough's enough.
I think Andy, I think, is responding to the situation. I think the plotters at the top, they at no point respected the mandate that Jeremy had been given, because his mandate was an implicit critique of the way the party had been run for at least a decade, if not 2 decades.
But it's these MPs,
got so out of touch.
It's these MPs who see Jeremy Corbyn at close quarters, much more than all of the people, I grant you, all of the hundreds of thousands of people who voted for Jeremy Corbyn. The MPs see him at close quarters every day, and they need to be led by him. Now, if they're saying, not just the plotters as you call them, but if MPs in these numbers are saying, we have no confidence in you, that's very serious, isn't it? Is that not worth taking note of?
It's very serious, and our members see the voters at close quarters every day. They know what we need to do to rebuild our party, to organise with people, not speak at them with a different bit of marketing spin. This is what we need to do to build our movement, to build the new politics that Jeremy spoke about, to build a more democratic and open and equal society. And to do that, we need a more democratic and activist party which is rooted in communities. That is the movement that is building around Jeremy Corbyn in support of his ideas, and that is the direction the Labour Party needs to continue to go. That is what needs to happen, and that is in the national interest. Right now, we have MPs who are they're not acting in the national interest at this time of crisis. We need a Labour Party to be putting forward Labour arguments and Labour policies at this time of crisis, and that is exactly what is not happening. And I think the voters will look upon us very, very badly, quite possibly, for spending however long we're now going to spend at this time of national crisis talking about ourselves to ourselves. It is the old politics of the worst kind.
He can't fill his shadow cabinet.
He will fill his shadow cabinet, and this needs to be taken to the party members. If they want to challenge him, it shouldn't have been done in this coup manner. That's what this is. This is a very Labour coup, an attempt.
A coup. This is a vote of no confidence.
A vote, as Andy confirmed, I think it doesn't have a constitutional. It doesn't have a constitutional basis.
Would you welcome a leadership contest now to clear the air?
I think it looks like we're going to have a leadership contest. I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, you just been speculating about who the opposing candidate is, but the way that should have been done, there are processes in the party. It's in the constitution. You send 51 names publicly to the General Secretary.
Well, that could be what happens next.
And you have a contest. What has happened over the last 3 or 4 days has been an incredible destabilisation of the entire Labour Party, a real tarnishing of its image in the country, and this was done to destabilise the leadership so that they could win some future leadership vote, or they think they can win some future leadership vote.
What do
And
you
I think the
of Tom
members
Watson?
across the country are livid, frankly.
What do you think of Tom Watson as a possible leader?
Jeremy Corbyn has the support of the membership. He was elected with an overwhelming majority. This is not the way that we should be behaving at a time of national crisis.
Thank you. James Schneider, National Organiser for the Momentum Group. Here are the headlines from Susan.
Labour MPs have overwhelming